All right, let's talk about AWS migration. Today, we're going to demystify all those essential transfer services you hear about. So, whether you're cramming for an exam or actually planning a real-world move to the cloud, this is the toolkit you've been looking for.
It's a feeling a lot of people have. You know the cloud is the goal, you see the benefits, but wow, the number of services and the thought of moving everything can feel pretty overwhelming. Like, where do you even begin?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to unpack the key services you absolutely need to know. We're going to turn that complexity into a clear step-by-step plan. Let's dive in.
First things first, you gotta understand that moving to the cloud isn't like flipping a light switch. Not at all. It's a journey, a process with really distinct phases. And believe it or not, it starts way before you move a single byte of data. And step one of that journey follows a simple but absolutely critical rule. You have to know what you have before you can even think about moving it. This is the inventory phase, basically taking stock of your entire on-premises world.
So, what's your main tool for this job? It's the AWS Application Discovery Service. The best way to think about it is like a scout that you send into your own data center. Its whole mission is to map out your IT landscape and gather all the intel you need to plan your move.
And check out the kind of detail it gets into. This is not just a simple list of servers. No way. It's grabbing everything: configurations, what OS you're running, performance data, and maybe most importantly, it figures out all the network connections and dependencies between your servers. Knowing that is absolutely vital for a migration that doesn't fall apart.
Now you've got two ways to get this done. You can go agent-based, where you install a tiny piece of software on each server for really deep data collection. Or, if you're in a VMware shop, you can use an agent-less approach with a virtual appliance. Knowing the difference between these two is a super common question in exam scenarios, so keep that one in your back pocket.
Okay, so you've done your homework, the plan is in place. Now for the heavy lifting. And the first big challenge is often the most basic one. How in the world do you get all your data, and we're often talking terabytes of it, out of your data center and into AWS?
I mean, this is the classic migration problem, right? Let's say you've got 50 terabytes of data. Your internet connection is okay, but it would literally take weeks, maybe even months, to upload all of that. Pushing that much data over a standard internet line just isn't going to work.
And that is exactly why the AWS Snow family exists. These are actual physical devices that AWS ships right to your door. You plug them in, load up your data, and ship them right back. They come in all sizes, from the Snowcone, which is this rugged, backpack-sized thing, all the way up to the Snowmobile, which is, and I'm not kidding, a semi-truck for moving exabytes of data. A truck!
A great way to think about it is this. If you can't use the internet highway to move your stuff, AWS will just send a specialized moving company right to you. It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful.
Okay, so that's the offline route. But what if you can use your network? Well, AWS has you covered there too. But the tool you pick depends completely on what you're trying to do. Are you moving your own data in, or are you setting something up to share files with others?
And this distinction is so important. Use AWS DataSync when you are migrating your own files from your on-prem world into AWS storage like S3. But if what you need is a secure SFTP server for your business partners to drop off files, then you want the AWS Transfer Family. So think of it this way. DataSync is for moving in, Transfer Family is for sharing.
So, we've got a plan, we've got the data moving. Now it's time for the real heart of the operation, moving the actual applications and databases that make your business tick.
For your applications, the main service you need to know is the Application Migration Service, or MGN. This is your go-to lift and shift workhorse. It's designed to take a server, physical, virtual, doesn't matter, and just replicate it over to AWS with almost no changes. And the process is actually pretty slick. You install a small agent on the server you want to move. MGN then starts continuously replicating that entire machine over to a staging area in your AWS account. This continuous copy means that when you're ready to cut over, your downtime is minimal.
Okay, so the application servers are on their way to the cloud. That's great. But what about the heart of those applications? What about the databases they depend on? Well, moving those requires its own special set of tools. And here they are, the dynamic duo of database migration, DMS and SCT. The absolute easiest way to remember the difference is with an analogy. You can't pour water into a bottle that hasn't been built yet, right? Well, the Schema Conversion Tool, SCT, builds the new bottle. It converts the structure, the schema of the database. Then, the Database Migration Service, DMS, comes in and fills that bottle by moving all the data over.
Now, this is a huge exam tip, so listen closely. If you are changing database engines, say moving from Oracle to Aurora, what we call a heterogeneous migration, you always use SCT first and then DMS. SCT translates the blueprint of the database, and DMS moves the actual contents. You have to build the new container before you can fill.
Whew. Okay, let's take a breath. We've talked discovery, data transfer, app migration, database migration. That is a lot of moving parts. So how on earth do you keep track of it all without losing your mind?
Well, that is the exact job of the AWS Migration Hub. And it's important to know, it's not a migration tool itself. It's your command center. It's that single pane of glass where you can plan, track, and manage your entire migration from beginning to end. And this is what makes it so powerful. It connects directly with all the tools we just talked about. The data from your application discovery, the progress of your MGN server migrations, the status of your DMS jobs, it all funnels right into this one central dashboard. It gives you total visibility.
So the big takeaway here, the main point, is that AWS doesn't just give you one tool and say good luck. It provides a complete end-to-end toolkit. You've got tools to plan, tools to move your data, tools to migrate your systems, and a tool to track the whole thing. Each one has a specific, crucial job on your migration journey.
So there you have it, the essential AWS Migration and Transfer Toolkit, completely decoded. The tools are ready, the path is clear. The only question left is, what are you going to build next?